friends. Welcome to this week's episode of Ghost Emoji. Today we're going to be talking about spooky, scary story time featuring truckers, hitchhikers, and spooky bad road trips.
It's your worst nightmare.
Also, it's me and Becca.
Yep.
Not part of the nightmare thing, but I forgot to say it's Ghost Emoji with Becca and Taylor. It's still us.
That's us.
I had my own spooky, scary road trip this weekend.
Did anything scary happen?
No, just terrible bad traffic.
That's scary in and of itself.
When a drive that should have been 3.5 hours turns into 5.5.
It's its own kind of horror.
And check stop was super duper crowded, so I didn't get a kolache.
Every time I've gone, it's been super crowded, so I've never gotten a kolache. I have no idea if they're good or not. I have no idea.
On my way back today, I actually stopped by, but I was listening to Sawbones, and it was a very good episode, but I became very unhungry, which is kind of unlike me, but I literally pulled into the parking lot, couldn't find a spot, and was like, forget it. I'm listening to a podcast about a man with, like, a gastro fistula or whatever. I can't even remember. It's about a dude who, like, basically had, like, his stomach was open to the outside world from, like, a badly healed gunshot wound to the stomach. And they would do experiments by, like, dipping food in it to see how long it took to digest.
Ew.
He contributed a lot to science. But it didn't make me want to eat a kolache, though.
As Justin would say, yuccarino.
Yep. I've also started saying oofa doofa, and I'm waiting for my family and Mark to be like, please stop.
Oofa doofa.
Oofa doofa. It's just so much fun to say.
You know, I'll never discourage that.
You only discourage, don't yuck my yums.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Don't like that one. Not a fan.
I feel like, you know, just because you hate it, like, you're yucking my yums of liking yuck my yums.
I will yuck it until you no longer yum it.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh.
Let's read these scary stories. These scary-ass driving stories.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Before we move on, something just changed in your, like, vocal quality.
What do you mean?
It sounds super muffled.
It's because there's a ghost.
Okay, see, now you sound fine. What did you do?
Nothing. I'm still just sitting in the same exact place.
Oh, no!
Well, that's creepy.
Sounded like you were a robot from far away.
Yuck.
Oh. Yuccarino.
Mm-hmm. Yuccarino.
Well, now that you sound good again, it's time for spooky, scary stories. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to tuck you in and whisk you away to Spooky Town?
Tuck me in. Whisk me away. I'm ready.
All right, I'm tucking you in. Do you want your feet tucked in? You're like 1 foot out, 1 foot in, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm a 1 foot out, 1 foot in kind of person.
Okay.
Also, I don't like it super tight, so don't do the like tight tuck. I don't like that. I get claustrophobic.
I really like that though.
Well, I'll do that for you.
Okay.
Don't worry.
When it's my turn, I'll remember.
Yeah.
Do you want a glass of water or anything?
Yeah.
Glass of warm milk?
Ugh, no. As a child, yes. As an adult, no.
All right, well, here's your adult glass of water.
Thank you.
So, I don't know if we're going to link where these are from. They're just kind of all pulled from the internet, so their verifiability, it's up in the air if these things have actually happened to anyone, or if it's just someone who got on the internet and got creative. But that's what the internet's for.
That's not the point of this. We're just here to spook you.
Yeah. Becca especially, because she's tucked in and she can't get away.
Nope.
But don't get too comfy, because then when you're done, you have to do me.
Okay.
So whoever is the last one actually gets to go to sleep. The other person has to just stay.
Okay.
So this one is from a Ranker article. And so these have been hand-picked. So I hope that you enjoy all of them. I guess this one's being relayed by someone else who's remembering a story someone told them. So it's another level of separation. Can you believe it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was a story on here a while back by a trucker. It was getting very late and very dark, so he pulled into a rest area off the highway in the middle of nowhere. The place was totally empty, meaning there weren't any other vehicles or people there. While he was getting some shut-eye inside his truck, he heard a faint barking sound, like a barking dog that seemed to be getting louder and louder as time went by. Eventually, the nasty barking sound was coming from right outside his driver's side door. As he got up to look in the window, he didn't see a rabid dog, but instead it was some crazy-eyed person looking directly at him, growling and trying to get in. He started the engine and got the heck out of there. The end.
That was so scary.
Well, I thought, that one I was actually kind of surprised. It made me think of that one story. I can't remember if it's an urban legend or if it was actually in a scary storybook when I was little, but the one where the little girl is lying in bed and she's scared because there's she's hearing weird sounds, and she has the dog that's sleeping by her bed, and whenever she wanted to be reassured, she'd put her hand down by the dog, and the dog would lick her hand, and she'd be like, okay, my dog's here, I'm safe, no one's gonna get me. And then the next morning she wakes up and gets out of bed, and the dog is dead, and written on the wall in blood it says, men can lick hands too, or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that story. It's scary. I hate it.
I've heard a lot of different versions of that one, but
yeah,
that one kind of made me think of this one. Just nothing super paranormal, just someone barking like a dog, just DMX running wild,
being a creep.
Arf, arf. Is that what DMX sounds like? I can't do his bark.
I somehow doubt it, but
arf, arf. That.
That's closer.
That's me. Yes. I'm outside your window.
Okay, it's my turn. Are you ready to get tucked in?
Yeah, tuck me in. You know how I like it.
Okay, I'm tucking you in super tight. You want any water?
No, I just have my seltzer, but I'm not gonna finish it. I'm just gonna
You're gonna burp all night.
I'm just gonna take a sip right before bed because I really want it, and then I'm gonna leave it.
Okay.
Because I'm irresponsible.
Good. All right.
Also, once I'm tucked in super tight, I'm gonna kind of wiggle a little bit, just so I do have a little bit of breathing room. But I like to start.
That's fair.
Start tight, and then just kind of really work my way in.
You do the worm. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta burrow into that.
Little glowworm. It's me.
Little glowworm.
All right, I've got my hands up by my chin. I'm looking out at you with my big bright eyes. I'm ready. Whisk me away.
Okay. Once upon a time, in the late 70s.
Okay, I'll stop. Okay.
My uncle was studying medicine at the University of Chicago. After a morning class, he decided he would hitchhike back home to Lincoln Park on the north side instead of pay for a taxi. A man drove up in a Plymouth Satellite and offered my uncle a ride. The man looked normal and seemed friendly, lighthearted even, so my uncle got in the car and they started driving towards Lakeshore Drive. However, once they got there, the man drove south on Lakeshore instead of north towards Lincoln Park. My uncle told the man he was going the wrong way and to turn around and head north. The man looked at my uncle, put his hand on his knee and said, "No, son, you are coming with me," and smiled darkly at him. My uncle froze in panic, and when they hit traffic near the South Shore, he quickly unlocked the passenger door and ran away without looking back. A year or two later, on a cold December day, my uncle was having coffee in a cafe with my future aunt when he caught something on the TV that made his blood run cold. He saw the man that had picked him up from school that day, the year before. He had been arrested for the suspected rape and killing of over 20 young men and boys. The man on the television was John Wayne Gacy, and he had removed the door handle off the passenger side door to prevent the men he picked up from escaping. That was from Reddit.
Yep.
We don't know if that's true. Makes for a good story, though.
Yeah, well, that, and I mean, because it's supposed to be John Wayne Gacy, I mean, if you know the location of, where he would pick up men, and possibly, the state of his car, and, what he drives, and the time period, you could be yeah, I definitely was him. Or just make up the story. Who's gonna know?
It's creepy, though.
That one, it was creepy, but at the same time, it kind of made me think of those chain letters where it's It's the one about, like, the atheist professor and the student who's trying to prove that God does exist, and then at the end it's like, that student was Albert Einstein.
Oh, I hate those. What a twist!
The man on the television was Albert Einstein. John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
Oof. I also had kind of like a little flavor of, like, the old, like, hook hand story with the whole car handle.
Mm-hmm.
I guess not being gone, and that one the hook's on it, but...
The creepy part of that story is literally knowing that you're the reason that he took the handle off of the passenger side door. Well, won't make that mistake again. It's like, oh my god, that's creepy.
Well, you could have been, like, in the middle if other people didn't think to run away.
Yep.
Or, we're already going that direction, so didn't realize that he was going the wrong way till it was too late.
True. Creepy. So sad.
Mm-hmm.
So sad and creepy.
He's dead now.
Tuck me the fuck in.
Okay. Well, here, how about this? I want to stay tucked in, so how about we do like a foot to head kind of thing, and you can just, like, kind of snuggle in next to me.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll share some of my seltzer with you.
Thanks. It's delicious. What flavor is it?
Tonight, I'm just drinking a regular old lemon.
That's good.
Yeah. I had my wild weekend of drinking the fancy LaCroix that my parents had. Now I've come home to my Kroger brand lemon seltzer.
It's good. Kroger brand's good.
No more pamplemousse for me.
The raspberry is not good, though.
Anytime they try to, like, they fly too close to the seltzer sun, and they do, like, mixed berry citrus, and I'm like, no, just do, like, your lemon limey or your mandarin. Maybe a coconut. I was a big fan, but Mark was like, how could you bring this into our house?
I like coconut.
I did too. I thought it was good. Luckily, there's enough room for 2 boxes of seltzer, so.
Ow, kitty.
Kitty,
She bites.
get out the bed. There's no room for kitties in this bed.
No room.
Okay, so I've put 2 straws into my seltzer, but one of them's a really, really long straw because I forgot we're head to foot, so.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's a long, crazy straw.
Yes, it's going to take a while for the liquid to get to me, but it's okay.
That's okay, because this story's a little bit longer, so by the end, you might have gotten a sip or 2.
That sounds good.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. This one's from that same like thought catalog, whatever one that we just read from.
Good old Reddit.
Okay. I was driving a shortcut from 29 Palms, California to Albuquerque, New Mexico. 29 Palms is located in the desolate high desert east of LA. The shortcut was all 2-lane road through total nothingness except for passing through Amboy, California. Amboy is a nearly abandoned town nearly as far below sea level as Death Valley, with a dormant volcano and lava field on one side and a salt flat on the other. It was also at the time a hotspot for satanic group activity. I'm so sure.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that just the way?
Ain't that just the way?
So I was driving by myself in the afternoon. I stopped in Amboy and snapped a picture of the city sign just to prove I was there to friends who dared me to take the route to I-40. Doing it for the snap. Was it worth it? I got back in my car and proceeded to drive up into the mountain range between Amboy and I-40. Once I reached the top, I'm driving north through a canyon with high grass on both sides of the road. Up ahead, I see some stuff in the middle of the road. Man, this person typed road many times. Take a shot every time I say road.
Every time, yeah.
Take a shot of LaCroix. Take a sip. As I approach, I slow down to see a red Pontiac Fieri, a Guy Fieri, stop sideways. No, it's a Pontiac Fiero. I've never heard of that. That must be an old...
Me either. This must be the 80s.
I guess so. I don't know. Some kind of car. Stopped sideways. Parked badly. Across both lanes. A suitcase open with clothes scattered everywhere and 2 bodies. Oh, to lolly. Laying face down in the road. A man and a woman. Man, there's so many details. I can barely keep them all straight. I stop 100 feet or so away, and the hair on the back of my neck is standing up. Being a Marine.
Throw that in there.
Just drop it. P.S. I'm also a Marine. I reach under the seat and pull out my giant gun. And I put 1,000 bullets in it. Something seemed very wrong. It looked too perfect, as if it was staged. I don't like reading this person's, like, writing style.
An ambush?
Was I being paranoid? Maybe, so I take out my gun. Something was just wrong. Getting out of the car seemed unthinkable. It was the horror movie move. I just keep being distracted because, like, I feel so stupid reading this because it's written so badly.
Yeah, it's not written well.
I should have ghostwritten it and been like, just for you guys, I'm gonna redo this. I'm gonna get the essence of it.
I'm gonna fix this.
Ugh. Alrighty. I'm just gonna power through it. I don't care. Here we go. As I scanned the road, I saw a line I could drive. Past the guy in the road on his left, swerved to the right side of the woman behind the Fiero, and I'd be on the other side. I dropped into first gear, punched it, drove the line as I planned. I passed the back of the Fiero without hitting it or either of the bodies in the road. I continued forward a couple hundred feet and slowed down so I could breathe and let my heart slow down. As I looked up into the rearview mirror, I saw the two bodies had gotten up. Dun, dun,
I'm scared.
Dun. Shh, just take a sip of your seltzer.
Okay.
They'd gone up to their knees, and 20 or so people emerged from the tall grass on either side of the road, like in World War Z, and started... I'm just making this up. I'm sorry, I said I was going to go all the way through. Emerged from the tall grass on either side of the road by the car and bodies. At that moment, my right foot smashed the gas pedal to the floor and did not let up until I had to slow down for the I-40 East on-ramp. I will never know what would have happened to me had I gotten out of the car to check on the bodies or stopped my car closer to them. Somehow, I do not think it would have been good. Sometimes real life can be scarier than a movie.
God.
And then I take off my sunglasses, and Baba O'Reilly starts playing in the background.
Yep.
Is that Baba O'Reilly? Which is the one?
No.
Wow.
Isn't that The Who?
It is The Who.
Bob O'Reilly.
No, Baba O'Reilly. That was the name of one of their songs.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the one that has Teenage Boy. I don't care. I don't know. But I took off my glasses, and that one thing played. Like I'm from NCIS Miami.
Perfect.
Ugh, that was tough. I really liked that story, but reading through it, I was like, oh no. This is written so badly.
When I read it, I glossed over it instead of actually, like, reading his like, flavor writing. And so I got the essence of it, but not his writing aesthetic.
I think we would have done better if we had just had the essence.
Yeah. All right. Well, next one is...
Here, 1 second. I want to let one of my feet out. I'm getting kind of warm.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good.
All right, cool. All right. In South Africa, we have a lot of hijackings, and for a while, the favored method to stop a car was to play dead in the road. This is very similar to the other one.
It is.
And it's from the same place.
But this one's got a sneaky twist.
A twist? Oh.
A twist of lemon in my seltzer, just for this story.
Of course, it doesn't take long for people to figure out that stopping to help people on the road is a bad idea. And that is where my friend of a friend joins the story. I had to struggle through that sentence. Okay. On his way home from work one night, he lived on a small holding. He sees a body in the road about 1 kilometer from his house. Man, we could tell they're not from America. Okay. Mm-hmm. We don't use kilometers here.
Extremely effective metric system. Get out of here.
We believe in miles and feet.
And inches.
Yards. Anyways, he quickly realized what was up and decided to just drive up onto the pavement. Curb for the Yanks, I think. I don't know what that means.
I like how he spelled curb.
Yep. K-E-R-B. Please inform me if that means something. I hope it is not a racial slur.
I think they're just sounding it out, being like, he drove up on the curb.
Oh, curb for the Yanks. Okay, I see what he's saying.
That's us, we the Yanks.
All right. We're the Yanks. Okay, well, thank you so much. You could have translated the kilometers into miles, and that would have helped me more. But yeah, let's spell out curb wrong. Okay, so he quickly realized what was up and decided to drive up onto the pavement, or curb, and go around the body without stopping. He got home about 2 minutes later, ran inside, and called the police. When he saw them coming down the road, he returned to where he had seen the body to tell them where to start their search. Obviously, there was no body, but what they did find was quite surprising. 3 dead hijackers hiding in the long grass on the curb, as it turns out. Oh, when he had driven up on the curb to avoid the dead guy, he had crushed all of the accomplices. The dead guy was never found, as far as I know. Dang, so he killed all those people.
Oh, shit.
By trying to avoid the body.
I know.
Damn.
I'm imagining he had to have been going, like, decently fast. Otherwise, they probably would have been like, let's not get run over. Let's roll out of the way.
I mean, you'd have to be driving pretty fast to hop the curb, because otherwise you, like... I mean, it's not that hard to hop a curb, but, like, if you're going straight at it, you would have to.
Mm-hmm. That one, I mean, I didn't like necessarily that they died, but it wasn't what I was expecting when I got to the end.
Mm-mm.
Oof. Also, I was happy because I was trying to find, like, scary ghost stories or, like, trucker-type stories from places that weren't America, but I had a really hard time, so I didn't know. I was like, they have truckers in Europe, right? Like, people who at least, like, drive, like, semis or something similar, like, that do large deliveries.
I'm sure they do, but I mean, America is so, like, expansive that I feel like we also have, like, a car culture that a lot of countries don't, and, I think that our truckers probably drive, like, longer
distances.
Hauls. Yeah, distances. They have more stops and, places to, like, bed down for the night, and probably there's more laws that allow for them to, like, rest places and stuff, but I really don't know. The whole, like, having to sleep on the side of the road really freaks me out, and I remember the whole thing that started this, like, idea was I was trying to find a scary story I read forever ago on Reddit that was by this trucker or someone who was friends with this trucker, and I don't know if it was real or not, but basically he was in some part near, like, a forest or a, like, national park, and he pulled over to the side of the road, and I can't remember if it was snowing, or if he'd had a blowout, or if he was just tired, and he pulled over on the side of this long, like, empty road. Either, like, the Jersey Devil or some sort of creepy, like, something or another was tapping on his window or knocking on the side of the load. I can't remember, but it really freaked me out, and I couldn't find it. So if you know of any story that's like that, please forward it to me, because I cannot find it. But it freaked me out very intensely.
She's ready to be scared again.
I'm ready to be scared again.
Not scared enough. I got over it. You need a fresh scare.
To be refreshed.
Alright, well, moving on to the next one. How are you doing? Do you need to adjust yourself? Do you need a refill? Do you want another cube in your water?
Yeah, I need another ice cube.
Okay, here you go.
Just one. Not too many.
You want, like, a...
Thank you.
Is it the square kind of cube, or do you like the one that are round with, like, the hole in the middle?
No, I like the crushed ice.
Oh, crushed? You like the little rabbit ice?
No, I like the ice, like, from Sonic.
Okay, well, I don't have any of that.
Well, fine.
Okay, no, I have it. This is a made-up bedtime scenario, so of course I have it.
Oh, yeah, that's
I ran out to Sonic, and I got it.
Thanks.
But
perfect.
On the way there, I heard a scary, spooky story.
Oh, tell it to me.
Oh, this one I am also worried it might be a little bit cringy the way it's been set up, but I'm gonna try and really, really play in this space and become this person.
Acting.
Acting. So I hope you're ready, because Taylor's leaving the building, and now I am this anonymous internet user.
Oh my god, whisk me away.
Here we go. I used to drive 180 between San Francisco and Cheyenne, Wyoming a lot. It's about 16 to 20 hours of driving, depending on weather and traffic. One night I was driving, and the car starts making this odd grinding noise, like I ran over something that got stuck. It's about 2 a.m. I pull into a rest stop that's well lit and wake up my buddy who was sleeping. I explain it to him as we get out of the car. We both hear what sounds like a kid crying. There are no other cars at the rest stop, but we frequently heard stories about child trafficking and kidnapping nearby, so we decided to check it out. We grab our flashlights and head towards the noise, which is coming from the bathrooms. As we get closer, we realize it's coming from the women's bathroom, and it's a low, dull sobbing. We're prepared for the worst. We walk in expecting to see someone brutally beaten and or raped or something, and we see nothing. The sound is still there, and it's still clearly coming from the room, but the room is empty. We turn on the lights, still nothing. Check each stall, the trash can, nothing. Even start looking for where in the room it's coming from, nothing. Is it a hidden speaker? Are we on candid camera? what the F. They used a swear. He said what?
Naughty.
They said what the fuck.
I can't believe they fucking did that.
They were really scared. They were really fucking scared.
Fucking inappropriate. Just kidding.
My buddy climbs up onto one of the stalls to get to the top window in the rest stop, which is vented out and open. He closes it and the noise stops completely. Opens it and there's no more noise. We sit there for a few seconds staring at each other. He shrugs, then the window slams shut again without him touching it. We were out of that fucking bathroom in seconds. The swears.
Acting.
The cusses. The noise starts up about 10 seconds later as we get to the car, and we're tearing out of the parking lot within 10 more seconds. The grinding noise is still there, so this time I pull over a few miles later to Flying J truck stop, well lit, sometimes occupied. A couple of truckers there, no other civilians like us. We check under the car, and there's a red and silver metal piece wedged between part of the car and the road, about a half inch or so off the ground. So with us in the car, it would have definitely been grinding against the ground. Can't remove it by hand, it's really wedged in there. So we kick at it to bend it and figure we'll remove when we get back. A week later, I had my mechanic take it out when he was doing a service. It was a part of a kid's tricycle. The red area on the back where someone can stand. So was the inference that he had hit a kid on a tricycle and he just, or is a haunted trike, or
I don't know.
The part that I thought was spooky was the whole thing where they're in the room where the noise is and there's nothing there. Because usually these stories I feel like it's I turned on the light and the sound was gone, and then I turned around and it came back on again. I don't know. I would have been more scared if it had been at a Buc-ee's. It kind of made me think of and it's a video, so I'm sure it can be tampered with or something, but it was a video from a hotel where someone had called in a complaint about someone just crying, wailing or whatever, and it shows people going to the room to investigate it, and I guess no one is staying in the room, and it shows people from a camera in the hallway perspective, someone going and opening the door and looking in, and you can still you can hear the noise over the camera, but they go in and there's nothing there. The guy comes out and is just I don't know, it's empty. But you can still hear, the wailing.
Ugh.
And it was kind of creepy. And of course, it was one of those where, they slow it down and they're when the officer goes in, you see this spooky, scary shadow go out behind him. What was it?
Probably a rat.
What was it? Or just, something altered after the fact. Just kind of smudge it a little.
Or that.
But just the idea of, walking to a room and you can still hear it, but having the room, be visibly empty is pretty, disconcerting.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
But I would probably also be pretty freaking scared if I walked in and there was just a crying ghost right there. That would probably be more upsetting. They'd both be upsetting.
Alright, this is from theghostdiaries.com. I was driving home one night as I had not seen my family for about 2 weeks.
Excuse me, you didn't even check and see how I was doing.
Oh my god. Okay. How are you doing?
I want to fluff my pillow a little bit.
Okay. Do you want me to fluff it, or do you want to fluff it?
Can you use, I know your feet are down by my head, so if you want to, fluff it.
I'll massage them with my feet.
With your little cashew toes.
With my little cashew toes.
Yeah, I need my head to be nice and level. Because of my TMJ, I don't want undue stress on my mandible.
Nope. It's not good for you.
Okay,
All right.
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Okay.
Here, let me put my retainer back in.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. I was driving home one night as I had not seen my family for about 2 weeks. Filled with excitement, I decided to take a shortcut through a desolated area that I didn't know too well. I had heard stories through the scanner about it, mostly ghostly tales, and I do, as a matter of fact, believe in ghosts, but my eagerness to surprise my wife and kids got the best of me. It was about 3:40 a.m. or so in the morning, and I had been on that particular road for about an hour already, and nothing out of the ordinary had happened. Suddenly, I get to an area packed with old creepy trees on the side and tons of shrubbery. As usual, my radio was on, and out of nowhere, this horrible static starts to crackle through the speakers. I started to feel chilly and uncomfortable, when, wouldn't you know it, I saw a man hanging from a tree on the side of the road. There he was. His body was even swinging from side to side. I stepped on the brake as fast and carefully as I could, but I kept looking through the rearview mirror and he was still there. I grabbed my coat, my gun, and my flashlight, and I had my phone in my pocket and started to dial 911, but there was no signal. I made my way through the shrubs, and when I reached the tree, he was gone. I moved the flashlight around thinking maybe he got free. I went back to my truck, looked back, and there he was again, hanging like I had seen him before. After this, let's just say I didn't take shortcuts anymore.
I just really like after these upsetting experiences, they're like, well, wouldn't you know it? I don't take shortcuts anymore.
LOL. Like, okay.
That's... that one was...
The fact that he disappeared and then reappeared is very unnerving.
Well, it kind of goes the whole, like, hug-a-bunch mirror thing, where it's like, they're only in the mirror.
Yep, hate it.
When you try to look at them with your two real eyes, you can't see them, but you can see them with that mirror magic.
Honestly, I would be more afraid if I saw the hug-a-bunch, like, on the side of the road or in my mirror than if I saw, like, I don't know, a person barking at my, like, window.
You would jump that curb and just run them over.
Fuck you! Yeah.
Oh man, I think you're lucky, Pierre, because this is the last one.
Yes.
So that means you get to go to bed for real, and I have to.
Yes.
And I have to get
stay
up.
awake.
Oh.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm gonna fluff my pillow, and then I think I'm gonna put my leg in because I'm getting a little cold.
Okay. You want me to turn the fan down?
No, I'm just gonna put my leg in.
Okay. I tickle one of your toes. Just a little bit.
Oh, no. That's not nice.
It was a spiteful tickle.
Tell me a story.
Okay. This one comes from www.thetruckersreport.com.
Honestly, probably the most legit place.
Yes, this one was from an actual trucker forum. So you know it's the good stuff. That's why I saved it for last. This turned out to be paranormal, but I didn't know it until later. It was on Highway 30 in Pennsylvania. Highway is a curvy 2-lane road and not recommended for trucks, but it is quicker. Man's got in their shortcuts. They're so excited. You gotta be careful. I came around a curve and came upon a bridge, and there was a young girl, around 2 or so, standing at the side of the bridge. I swerved to the left lane, and it dawned on me, what would a young girl be doing standing there at this time of the morning, around 2 a.m.? I pulled over to the shoulder the best I could and walked back to her. I asked her name, and she told me. I asked her, what are you doing here? And she pointed behind her. I looked over behind us, and I could barely see an overturned car at the bottom of the ravine. I ran down there, and there was a couple in the car, both unconscious. I went back to the truck, grabbed my bar. I used it on tightening straps on the flatbed. I like that they included that. Mm-hmm. As if, why would I have one in the car?
Yeah.
For trucker stuff.
Trucker stuff.
Called 911 and headed back to the car. I broke the windshield out, got the guy out, and that's when the paramedics and state police showed. When the woman got out, you could tell that she was very, very pregnant. They sent them out by ambulance, and the state trooper was taking a statement. He says, I'm surprised you could see the car way down there. And I told him I didn't. Their daughter was standing by the bridge, and that's why I stopped. He radioed the ambulance, and the ambulance radioed back. The couple says, we don't have a daughter. Ah! It's a son.
Oh.
It's a little bouncing baby boy.
Well then.
Yeah, this one I was kind of surprised that he didn't, make some kind of connection, it's like a weird baby ghost, the, baby astral projected out and was like, dude, save me.
Save my mom and my dad.
I'm not gonna get born if my mom dies down in this ravine.
That is a creepy story.
Well, this one, it was actually, I meant to, maybe it didn't copy in there, but in response to this, there was 2 or 3 other ones that were like, I heard a story similar to this, but it would be kind of changed around, and instead of being, a young girl, it would be like a ghost grandma or something like that. And so it was kind of, they were like, I'm not saying you didn't see it, but I'm saying I've heard a lot of stories like this. I don't know if the guy ever responded.
Probably because he was like, dang it, they figured it out.
I should have gone with Ghost Grandma.
Damn it.
That one at least, like had a happy story. And it wasn't like, and then they found a girl, and she was dead, and that's why she was a ghost. I feel like I've heard stories like this before, like on some like, not ghost documentary, but like some kind of like ghost TV show. And I think the story was, it was a lady and her son, who was maybe, I want to say he was like 8 or 9, so he was older. But it was one of those things where they were like traveling to meet her parents or something, and they crashed and had been missing for like a week. And the way they found her was someone was like, I saw some lady who looked like, you know, kind of hurt and naked or something, like wandering in the woods on that road, but when I went back, she was gone. And then when they went to go find that lady, they were like, well, we didn't see this, but it looks like a car's come through here. And then they found the boy, and his mom had passed away, but they were like, she must have died, like, in the crash. She hasn't left this car.
Ugh.
So the little boy survived, but it was, I feel like there's a lot of variations of this kind of story, where it's like some kind of ghostly relative or something like that is like, hey, over here, dummies.
I'm creepy.
Come get my boy.
Come get my kid or my mom.
Which, I mean, that one, like the one with the mother and son, like if that one is actually true, like it's really sad that she died, but it's also really sweet that she was like, I gotta stay and do this thing. Yep. So not to make light of her possible ghostly intervention, but it's just a very, like, kind of common trope. But it's nice to see a ghostie that wants to help.
Yep. Instead of just scare.
Hang out in a mirror and scare you.
Yep. Get out of here, hug a bunch.
This is an anti-hug-a-bunch zone. That's all of our spooky, scary stories that we found. Kind of wouldn't say in a rush, but, you know, we tried to curate them a little bit. Sorry about the quality of prose that people on the internet provide. Get it together.
Ooh, I have one that I just found.
Oh, I'm Lucky Pierre. I'm hopping back in bed and I'm kicking you out.
Get in. All right.
I'm taking all the covers.
This is from Reddit as well. It's from Paranormal.
Ooh.
My dad told me a story about a decade ago about something that had happened to him sometime in the late 70s. He had recently bought a restored Corvette Stingray from a man for a very low price. The car was in perfect shape, and he was surprised to see it being sold for well under its market value. The owner had been in an accident in which his passenger had been killed after a fire broke out and trapped the passenger. Mm-hmm. The owner claimed he wanted to get rid of it as it had too many bad memories, and he refused to drive it. My dad was driving the Corvette through Fraser Valley in British Columbia late at night, I think, and fishtailed the back end while going around a bend. He collided with another vehicle, and the car immediately caught on fire. My dad rushed to get out of the car, and before he got out the door, he heard a voice of a terrified man saying, "Please don't leave me, I don't want to die." Obviously, my dad freaked out and bolted out of the car. He watched the car slowly begin to burn and made his way to the other vehicle to make sure they were okay, which they were. He flagged down a passing vehicle and asked them to go to the nearest town and get the police and firefighters. The other driver and my dad stood on the side of the road and watched the Corvette burn while they waited for help. Once the fire started to rage, a loud shrieking came from the burning wreck that lasted several minutes. The other driver asked my dad if there was someone in the car and said, "Jesus, he sounds like he's burning alive in there." My dad immediately remembered the passenger who was killed in the previous wreck and was absolutely stunned. The Corvette didn't have a radio, so he knew there was no explanation for the shrieking coming from inside the car. My dad apparently had nightmares for many years afterwards in which a faceless man was burning alive in the car and couldn't get out. It seriously bothered him that he had no explanation for what happened and often wondered if he had heard the passenger who had died previously. He ended up restoring the Corvette but refused to drive it again. He sold it at a low price shortly after I was born. My dad is the most honest man I've ever met, and to see him go pale every time he mentioned this event made me believe him even more, despite how unreal it sounded.
Ugh. Is it bad that because it was like a red Corvette and it was making a weird shrieking noise, then I just imagine like when you drop a lobster into the pot, ugh, and it's not actually them screaming, it's the sound of like air being like forced out of their shell because of the high temperatures, so it sounds like yelling.
Spooky.
Can cars do that?
I don't know, but the shrieking that the other person was able to hear is that's creepy. But anyways, that's the end. That's all of the scary stories from the road, from truckers, from hitchhikers, from just people driving distances in cars and trucks. Tune in next time we do another scary story reading, which won't be, the next episode or anything, but I want to do one on, what was the other one we wanted to do?
We've had a good, kind of compilation of, deep sea diver stories.
Yeah.
And, national, park rangers, search and rescue type stuff. That's pretty juicy.
Yeah.
Also, mostly unverifiable, but if you can get over that, so can we.
Mm-hmm. They're good stories.
We'll just have a regular old slumber party.
Tuck each other in.
We'll have a nice little slumber party, and we'll tuck you in, and Becca in, and me in.
Get to tucking.
I know. I'm gonna go tuck in for real, because it's late.
Me too.
And I'm tired.
This storm is setting the mood.
Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed some of that ambiance, because I don't think we're gonna be able to get rid of all of it, so...
leave it in. Who cares? It's spooky.
Well, thank you for listening. We love doing our little shows, and we always enjoy any feedback we get. So, thank you for continuing to tune in, review, subscribe, comment, whatever you feel like. We're on iTunes. We're on iTunes. We're on YouTube. We're on Podbean. All of those. It's Ghost Emoji. If you want to tweet at us on Twitter, it's a Ghost Emoji Show. And yeah, just send us anything. We always like suggestions, comments on any of the episodes. If you've got a cool road trip story, or if you know a trucker or are a trucker and have seen something paranormal out on the road, if you know what story Becca was talking about earlier, she's desperately searching for it. She won't stop. She needs help.
I spent all week looking for it.
Maybe you made it up. Maybe you dreamed it.
A ghost astral projected it into my brain. You just think you read this on Reddit, Becca.
But he didn't astral project it well enough that you could remember the details specifically.
No, but that's not out of character for me. So, seems in line.
Anyway, I guess until next time, I'm Taylor, and that's Becca.
Stay spooky!
Stay spooky.
Bye-bye.
Bye.